Morning, everybody. I'm Sandy Diamond. Luna's doing the videotaping, my beautiful young rider, and we're going to go get the horse that I call the Big Red Mare. My feeling about going to a horse, whether it's in a field, a paddock, a stall, whatever, tie stall's not quite the same, but that's a different thing. Most people don't use tie stalls anymore. Anyway, I don't walk straight into a horse and expect them to tolerate that. So Luna's going to see how things go here. As I keep telling people in my videos that this mare, she was an 8-year-old, had essentially 6 weeks of training by a professional trainer, had never been cantered under saddle. In a very unfortunate circumstance during the training, it was in side rein and got spooked and flipped over backwards, and the owner brought her home, the owner being April Johnson of April's Tack Boutique. You might want to stand just as close as you can, and I'll try and keep my face straight. Anyway, so the mare was in a lot of trouble. So you notice I stood out here and I waited for her to catch me. I came for a couple of years, maybe 3 years, before April and I came up with the scheme that I should move over here, help her with this horse. And one of the times I was here, time before last, before I moved over, we had worked with the horse 3 days in a row. I was going to take the ferry back to the mainland, because this is Vancouver Island, and I said, why don't we just go get that mare of yours and play with her for a little bit before I catch a ferry? Well, 3 hours later, and it was a pretty good-sized clinic. We had, 5 or 6 people here, plus April and her husband. I think her husband was involved, and everybody was involved, and all I did was go stand in the middle of the field that's back there, and everybody else just, as soon as she came anywhere near them, they all had sticks, and they just chased her away until she finally found me. But it was genuinely 3 hours. So this is a change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always go into this mare this way. And the reason that I do that, you see how she's turned her head to block me from walking in there? If it wasn't for the fact that I already had a lot of time with this mare, and I don't mean, an hour a day for, 6 months. I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 hours a day for the last year, plus the clinics that I was here. So she just came off a 3-month vacation. She'd been ridden, Luna, 3-4 times maybe?
In the whole 3 months?
In the whole 3 months? Yeah. Something like that. Now you notice, when she opened her head up to let me come in, I didn't just grab in there, that I gave her a moment to think about that. Now I'm going to throw this rope up here. So, this is golden. This is, when Luna and I were working her last summer, Luna figured she started middle of May last year, 2019, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Luna here, because Luna had been in a 7-year program with a local breeder dressage type, and she knew how to put a horse on the bit. She knew how to put the leg on. She knew how to use her seat. But this horse couldn't take that. So Luna came the first time to ride the horse, and she got on the horse, and she put her seat in the saddle, put the leg on, took a hold of the horse, and walked the horse a little. And I said, Luna, hold on a second. Go to the buckle end of the rein. And Luna says, well, I don't do that. It's not really safe. So that's where Luna and I started. And when Luna would lead a horse, it was like this. And if the horse was going to go through a little space, Luna'd stand in that space because she was going to block the horse from coming through that space. I think Luna weighs about 130 pounds. It's not a good thing to do. So anywho, I'm going to ask this horse to come out of this man gate, and I'm going to do it one of the ways that I really like doing it. It's only one of the few. So Luna, if you just back up a little bit over there, what I'm going to do, Luna, that away a little bit. There you go. I'm just going to ask her to yield her right hip. And yesterday, Luna, when you rode her, was it the right hip she was sticking at you?
Left hip.
Left hip. Okay. All right. That's cool. Then I'll work with the yielding the left hip. But in order to do that, I have to move her over here. And then change things around a little bit. I'm just going to step over here. Ask her to yield that left hip. Ask the shoulder to stay here. Bring her ahead a little bit. Bring her ahead a little bit. I'm just going to ask her to step ahead just a little. There we go. So she's lined up better. There. Now I can just yield her front end away. Get her off of that gate. I'll ask her to back up. Right, left, right, left. Just drop that rope down so she knows. I don't have to pluck at her or push on her or pull on her or any of that. Just going to take the rope up. This mare used to be really volatile. So Luna, you just click off.